Okay, bear with me, 2 more. And the last couple get a little easier. So this one, you're supposed to, you have an equation with e to the 2x. Again, I see a lot of this in Calc 2. Students say Calc 2 is harder than Calc 1. And I think this is why you need all the pre-calc in Calc 2. So it's an equation. You're supposed to solve for x. That's what you do. And they tell you that you're supposed to make a substitution. They ask you to set u equal to e to the x. So step 1 is to let u equal to e to the x. If u is equal to e to the x, then u squared is e to the 2x. Question? They give it to you up in the problem, such u is equal to e to the x. They tell you to do that at the top. You see it? In the question. In the question itself, they say it. So then plug that in. I don't know if this is hard to see, but so they tell you in the problem u equals e to the x. So that tells, and they say substitution. This is what they mean by that. And in Calc 2, that's where you see this, we call it u substitution. That's where this comes from. Again, David, this is they're well-intentioned. They're trying to get you ready for something that you might see. But I'm not convinced that the connection will be made when you suddenly see it. I can guarantee you when I teach Calc 2, this connection wasn't made. Oh, remember those u's that we used back in pre-calc? Nobody says that. Watch it, you guys will be the ones that say that. When people are confused in the class. You guys don't remember? Because we did that in pre-calc. Is that a sure way to get your butt kicked on the way out the door? There was someone in my graduate abstract algebra class that said he was bored in class in front of everybody. Someone from the back stood up and said, "Who said that? Who said that?" I don't think you're going to make it out of here alive. Okay, so what you're going to do is, instead of the e to the x, you're going to replace it with the u. And instead of the e to the 2x, you're going to replace it with the u squared. That was the point of that. It's going to be a quadratic equation. You have 2u squared minus 11u plus 5. I want you guys to use the quadratic formula because it's useful for you. It's not factoring that thing. You won't be able to factor 99% of the time, but you'll always be able to use quadratic formula. So in a way, factoring is a waste of time because what if you can't factor it? You wasted all that time trying to factor it, and then you still have to use quadratic formula. So use the quadratic formula, or there's a button on your calculator that'll solve the whole thing for you. Go to Google and just figure it out. It's worth the time. So if you want to use the quadratic formula, u is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4c all to 2a. I just told you somebody had graffitied this somewhere. It's a good thing. All right, so put the numbers where they're supposed to go. Why I like doing things like this on Maple or the calculator, you saw how I had a 1 in the 15. It was written kind of sloppy, and then next step it became a 5. Everybody's prone to error. So you avoid this by just punching the whole thing into the calculator and telling the calculator to do it for you. So I put all the numbers in the right place, and then I cranked it on Google. You can actually put these numbers on Google and it'll do it for you. And I get 2 answers, 11 plus 9 over 4 and 11 minus 9 over 4. Those 2 answers become 5 or a half. So I get 11 plus 9 is 20, divided by 4 is 5. 11 minus 9, okay, so you get two nice numbers. And next step is to solve for x. I'm not done. That's another thing we see in Calc 2 a lot of the times. People think they did something and they circle that answer. They're not done. You remember that you were supposed to solve for x, and u was e to the x. So you got to get the x out of there. One more step. What is it? Hey, you guys really learned. How did you learn that? I had to leave and then you learn it? That's good. Good to know. Natural log both sides on each of those equations. The e and the natural log cancel out, and you get x as a natural log 5 or x as a natural log 1/2. Natural log 1/2 and minus natural log 2 are the same things. Why? Because natural log 1/2 by the laws of exponent is really natural log 2 to the minus 1. By the log laws, that minus 1 can come out to the front, and it turns out it's the same thing as minus natural log 2. another thing that freaks doctors out when I start doing that really fast. But it's not a, you know, I'm not teaching in that case. We're trying to solve a problem and we don't have all day. So I just start doing things and they're like, wait, what'd you do? Like, just let me go, let me be. I'm doing my thing, this is what I do. The good news is, you know, if they want to do something with math in it, they're not doing it themselves, but we just do it as a team. So I do the math, they do the doctor stuff, and then we work together. It works out pretty well. I don't want to touch anybody, so I'm okay with them doing their thing. Our clinic, the one person who hasn't done any work in the clinic is myself.
This is the last work, right?
2 more, but these are fast. This one, it may not be as fast, but the other one is. The last one is 2 answers. You have natural log 5 and minus natural log 2. I don't know how Webassign takes it, so that's why I did this. And I thought you should see it anyways, because you actually do see this in biology. Yeah, you always look at the rubric and it'll say, if you can see the rubric, if it asks for it, you'll know. I think in the tests I've been pretty fair. It's just that when you guys are working on Webassign, it can be pretty frustrating when you're putting in an answer you think is right and it's giving it to you as wrong. That's why sometimes I have the answers there. E to the 4x. All right, this one I didn't make any mistakes on because I got the right answer at the end. The answer's sitting there. There's a lot of going through the motions. Bear with me. I know it's tough. We just got 10 problems, and then we're done with all of this. And then Wednesday we can have a party.
I had 10 problems.
10 problems. Yep. 9 and 10. I don't assign you more than 10. Get ready. There's people that assign a lot, 30 or more per week. Yeah.
In calculus?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, during spring break, one of my colleagues assigned his students over 100.
I'm taking calculus in every school.
Not everybody does it.
I'm gonna need you. We're gonna talk at the class. We're gonna find out who.
It depends on what you want. Like I know one of my colleagues, he doesn't ever use Webassign, and I use it like this. I refuse to use Webassign as a grade thing. So people have their own pet peeves. Yeah. So.
Because over like 2-week trial, I tried it and it kept telling my answers were wrong, even though they weren't. So I didn't like it.
Well, if it was for grade, it's quite a different thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's get through this. Cross multiply is the first step. So you have this expression. Right at the top, I rewrote that expression so that t is really t over 1, and you're cross multiplying the fractions. Does it make sense when you're watching it and not taking notes? Second step, once you cross multiply, you have this expression right here. The next thing you want to do is distribute the t. So the t gets multiplied in. So this side becomes this mess over here. I know. But I'm sure that you can take notes like pausing it and watching it. It probably is. I wish I could have learned like this, because then when you're doing the problem, you could rewatch it then, even if it took notes. Sometimes I go home and I don't remember, or it's not that I don't remember, I didn't fully understand it in the first place. So, okay, so bring everything to the left, all of it. If you bring everything to the left, you got a big 0 on the right. So I'm copying the equation over and over so that if you're taking notes, this is where you were before on the previous step. All of this stuff is going to come to the left. So I'm going to subtract the t, e to the minus x, and I'm going to subtract the e to the e to the minus e to the x. I think I have this right. Yeah, everything's subtracted over to the left. And I got the big fat 0 on the right. I recopied that. So what I did next I'm going to do some factoring. So see these e to the 4x's here? I'm just going to pull it to the left, the e to the 4x. See to the e to the minus x here? I'm going to pull it to the left. So I'm going to factor that out to the left, backward distributive law. So from your previous step, all I did was factor. This came out and factored, and this came out and factored. And now, I'm going to take this second piece over here and add it to the right. And it doesn't look, well, it looks a little bit better than what we started out with. Remember that I told you that's what I tell Calc 1 students? If it's looking worse and worse every step, you might be doing something wrong. So it looks a little bit better. So at the very second step, all I did is I added this to both sides. And now I'm going to divide both sides by e to the minus x. And I'm going to divide both sides by 1 minus t. I'm going to bring the t stuff to one side and the x stuff to one side. This game plan is the same game plan back when you were really little and learning algebra for the first time. All the x stuff always goes to the left, and anything that's not an x stuff goes over to the right. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to, it's just that at the very beginning, the x's and the t's were all mixed up together. So I had to somehow get it so that I could separate them out. So I recopied it. So I'm telling you the step now is to divide that e to the minus x out of both sides. And I think like so. So if you were copying from the notes, this was what you last wrote. Now just divide both sides by e to the minus x. And then the e to the minus x, what slashes out here, those two things get out, go out. And I get e to the 4x minus, with the minus x on the bottom on the left. So let me leave it like that. I just slashed everything out. I'm going to copy this again so you can see it. So after those things are slashed out, this is what I have. Now this part here, I can combine using the laws of exponents. E to the m over e to the n is e to the m minus n. So the m in this case is 4x and the n is minus x. So I'm just applying the rule. And over here on this side, I can't do anything. Did you feel like slashing these t's out? Don't do it. Can never slash out over a plus sign. So you can't cross those. There's nothing I can do with this. But this, it becomes 5x. So I have e to the 5x is equal to 1 plus t over 1 minus t on the other side when everything's all cleaned up. And now I want to get that x alone, so I ln both sides. The steps should seem pretty rote. So I have now 5x is natural log 1 plus t over 1 minus t. And now what do I do that 5? You turn it into a 2. No, I'm just kidding. So you multiply both sides by 1/5 to get rid of it, or you divide both sides by 5. I did the multiply by 1/5 because I had the answer sitting on top, and I know that that's how they wanted it. Look at that, Webassign got it right again. Sometimes it does get it wrong, actually. Happens. Huh?
For the last step, did you divide by 1?
For this step here?
Yeah.
If you multiplying both sides by 1/5 is the same thing as dividing by 5. As a rule, I always multiply by the reciprocal because it makes everything much more clean looking.
Oh, okay, so just times it by 1 over 5.
Right. Right. That gets rid of the 5. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have this natural log of a big ugly mess divided by a 5. It looks very ugly, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's not like it looks a lot better now. All right. Can you imagine we're supposed to do this all the way up to 245? It's hard, right? If we had the day we did it on the blackboard, we only got 4 problems done. Last problem, easiest problem of the day, and that's what we'll leave with. Don't disappear on Wednesday because we're having a party. We're going to all log in as in-class assignment. We're going to fix this in-class assignment while we're eating pizza. Don't get grease on the work, though. Okay, step 1, bring the powers inside the arguments. I'm like Pavlov. I hear my Facebook going, ah, Pavlov, you need to see my Facebook. You guys can't hear my Facebook, but it'll be recorded on here. Because it can hear, the camera can hear it. So bring the powers inside. I'm using this law up here, the extra law number 8 that's going to go on your list. The 3 comes out as a power, the 2 comes out as a power. Set the insides equal, because you got log of a mess equals log of a mess, so the messes must be equal. And then cube root both sides to get rid of the 3. 1/3, raise both sides to the 1/3 power. Right? If you had a square, you'd square root both sides. If you have a cube, you cube root both sides. And I popped that into Google, and I got 16. I just went 64 raised to the 2/3 power. Because I didn't have a calculator sitting in front of me. I was lazy. And Webassign got it right again. Good? It was a mouthful today. We're only at 2:15. This tells you we did a lot of stuff, but we're only at 2:15.